the master of the house had known the hour when the thief was coming, he would not let his house be broken into. If anybody has ever had anything stolen from them before, you might have thought to yourself, I could have been there when the thief caught them, they would have not been able to have stolen my things. Jesus is using this parable to teach us to always be ready for when the Lord comes. Because we do not know the day nor the hour. There have been a lot of predictions about the end of the world. Obviously, they've all been wrong up to this point, because we're still here. But we do not know the day or the hour of our own death. I'll tell you a story. It's not a true story, but hopefully you get the point. Once upon a time, Satan called an end of the fiscal year meeting to go over the year's results. He was not pleased, and he demanded to know what new strategies he could employ to guarantee success in moving men's hearts away from God. Sending men distractions in prayer was one on the list. Also, tempting people to greed and to lust was on the list. Infiltrating and corrupting the music industry, the entertainment industry was certainly up there. Yet, Satan was still not satisfied. He said, we can do more, we can do better to turn people away from God. Then one suggestion was brought to his attention. We must convince everyone on earth that they have a lot of time. And this is what the devil does. He can make us think, oh, I have plenty of time, I can convert later, I can give my life to God later, when I'm old, on my deathbed. But we know, from perhaps even people we know, who the Lord has called them at a very early age. Often when we are young, we feel quite invincible. At a young age, we do crazier and riskier things with our lives. And as we get older, we're more careful about our health. To preserve that life, we don't take it for granted as we get older. But maybe you can think of someone you know who died at a young age. All your teachers probably can tell you classmates that they had in high school who died at a young age. I have my own friends from high school who died when they were in high school or just recently graduated out of high school into college. The point is, the Lord wants us to be ready. He doesn't want us to live in fear of dying every day, like, oh no, something terrible might happen. But the Lord does want us to be living so that when He does come, or that when He does call us to Him, that He'll find us doing His work and doing good things, and not the work of the devil. There have been many people who death has caught them by surprise and had very terrible deaths, rebelling against God. But I would like to share with you 4 examples of people who died at a very young age who were ready. They were prepared to meet the Lord, even though they died at a very young age. The juniors and seniors, I'd like to share with you, well, everyone, but especially the juniors and seniors, Blessed Chiara Badano. She died at age 18. She was young, she was extremely popular, she was extremely beautiful. But she suddenly had a rare form of bone cancer. And she refused morphine, and instead of wanting, she refused the morphine, and she offered up all of her sufferings for Jesus Christ. And when she was in the hospital, she did not complain, she did not get angry with God. Rather, she was extremely joyful. And not only was she joyful in the midst of her own suffering, but in fact, she was keeping all the other patients happy who were around her and encouraging them. Not thinking of herself. Filled with joy and the love of God. And she was grateful for every one of those 18 years of life that God had given her, rather than complaining that God had cut her life short. God, you have given me this life. Without you, I would never even have had 18 years. But you are so good and gave me this life. She died joyfully in 1990. The second is Blessed Laura de Cunha. She died in 1904 at the age of 12. And she was weakened by physical abuse by her mother's boss. She died of pulmonary tuberculosis. Her mother was not the best of mothers, but she offered her life for her mother's salvation. And in the midst of her sickness and pain and suffering, she said, "Mama, I offer my life for you." Blessed Laura de Cunha, age 12. Our third saint died in the year 1621. He had a little bit more life than the previous examples. He died at age 22. He joined the Jesuits, the religious order of priests, despite opposition from his father and teachers. He wanted to become a religious priest. And he had a deep love for being an altar server. And that's why one of our altar server teams is named St. John Berchmans. He had a love for being an altar server at Mass, and died at the age of 22 from a Roman fever. Lastly, St. Dominic Savio, 1857, died at age 14. Dominic is the youngest canonized saint in the Catholic Church who was not a martyr. His pious life was enough that St. John Bosco, his teacher and priest, guided him and wrote his biography, describing his miracles and his intense love for God. These four saints, so many others, were ready. They were prepared and lived a joyful life, so that when they died, the Lord found them serving Him. Again, we all tend to think we will continue in this earthly life for many years to come, and many of us will. But this may not be the case, for we do not know the day nor the hour. We must awake from our slumber, for blessed are those servants whom the Master finds vigilant on his arrival.